Namaste to all of you. Topic of today is food for the patient. In Ayurveda, we strongly believe that your food should work as a medicine, especially in case of the disease. When patient is suffering from any disease, then his food should be such that it should not be increasing his disease, but it should work as a medicine. So very, very important factor, because we know that every disease has got its root cause in ama. And ama is being formed if you have got less digestion fire. And secondly, we know that in every chronic disease, automatically there is less digestion fire. With the time, your fire will be decreasing. The way disease is getting chronic, your digestion fire is going to decrease. So that's why in chronic diseases, you have to take extra care that food taken in should be according to your digestion fire. In any case, it should not be making more ama, undigested food, toxins. And that is again going to worsen your situation. Therefore, in Ayurveda, our scholars, they have given us few recipes what therapists, Ayurvedic practitioners can give in different situations of the patient. We know that food is a sustainer of life. So without food, we can't function. So we need carbohydrates, we need proteins, we need fat, we need fibers, we need vitamins, we need minerals, we need water. So these are all ingredients what our body needs to function. And when you are suffering from some disease, then your body needs more energy to fight against. And I have told you, in every disease there is less a digestion fire. That body can't digest. If it can't digest, it will be making more ama and your disease is going to get worse. So what shall we do that our patient should get carbohydrates, proteins, fibers, fat, minerals, vitamins, and things like that? So that is the recipes what we are going to talk about. So number one is Khichadi. Khichadi is a complete food in Ayurveda. So by having Khichadi, you will be getting all the elements what your body needs. So Khichadi is good combination of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And not only that, it's processed in a way that it should get absorbed very easily. So with that, you have got enough calories. You will be getting nutrition. You will be getting energy out of it. And it's good for 7 body tissues. We call that dhatus. So this has got enough carbohydrate. So by processing the way it's being told, you will get water-soluble carbohydrates. You will get water-soluble proteins and the fats. And it's processed with few herbs that it makes its absorption easy. So diseased patient, the person, he who is sick, he can also absorb this very easily. That's the idea behind. So how it's being processed? So it's because we have to have carbohydrates, and rice is very good source of carbohydrates. So we take 2 parts of rice, and that is being mixed with 1 part of pulses, dals we call. You have got green grams, you have got moong bone, and you have got mash, and these are to be taken in a certain proportion. 2 parts of rice, 1 part of pulses, and a half part you have to take sesame seed because we need fats. Body needs carbohydrates, proteins, and fat, and we have to cook it in 4 to 6 parts of the water. So you can take 4 to 5 times water, maximum 6 times, and cook it till it becomes a semi-solid form. And you have to put a little bit asafoetida. You have to put senda namak, that is Himalayan salt. You should put a little bit ginger, black pepper, pepper longum. So these are the herbs, and not to forget cumin. So these all herbs make it a bit hot in nature, and that will help to increase agni, and at the same time it will help to get these water soluble carbohydrates, water soluble proteins, what has come out of this mixture while cooking, and that is then easy to absorb. So patient will be getting everything what he needs. And then we have got second recipe in Ayurveda. We call that yuvagu. Yuvagu. Yuvagu is just like a khichdi, but this is a semi-solid. So there is more watery substances. So then it's your own intelligence, it's your own diagnose that in which condition you want to give semi-solid or solid. So we have got patient, those who are having constipation, then I'll be giving them yuvagu in place of khichdi. We have got patient with problem like they are having diarrhea, so I will choose for khichdi in that case. So that is, every patient is different. We have to know about the patient, and then we have to select the food we want to give. Then you have got one more recipe that we call vilepi. Vilepi is also semi-solid decoction made with rice without pulses. So it's very important to know here that why only with rice but not with the pulses. You have got patient, you have got conditions where patient is not able to digest proteins. Patient is having a problem with abdomen colic. He is every time having pain if he eats. So in that case, I will be going for vilepi, because vilepi is semi-solid decoction of rice with the herbs I mentioned. So without pulses, it means that I haven't given him proteins because proteins of the pulses is a bit heavy to digest than proteins what he will get from the rice. So that way, we have to see patient to patient what will suit him. Then you have got one more recipe, we call that peya. Peya is just to drink. So liquid or decoction made with the rice and pulses and all the herbs, what I have just told you. So this is, you cook it and you decant that water, you filter that, and that water, what is drinkable, we call that peya. So you have taken all the water-soluble carbohydrates and proteins in this drink, and you can give to your patient those who can't digest food at all. So if you give any solid food, they will vomit or they will get diarrhea. So in those cases, to maintain their health, to give them enough proteins and carbohydrates, we give water soluble, and that is what we get after cooking and getting everything out of that pulses and rice with the fat, and that is easily digestible. So he will be getting at least carbohydrates, fats, and food in water soluble form, and is easy to digest. Then you have got one more recipe, we call that yusha. It's just concentrated peya. So if your patient is having diarrhea, so diarrhea is when water can't be absorbed in the intestine and patient is throwing everything out. So then we give in those cases yusha. So Yusha is more concentrated form of the decoction what we have made with rice, pulses, fats, sesame seed, and putting few herbs, and it's a semi-solid, and we can give to the patients those who can't digest and they have not that much problems with diarrhea. So you can give Yusha to the patient, those who are now recovering after diarrhea, they can have little bit more food. So you have given them in the concentrated form. So we have spoken about khichdi. Khichdi is the best food, what is a sustainer of life, what will give you immunity, what will give you energy, what will feed all the 7 body tissues, and it's good for the chronic patient. It is not ama increasing, it will be increasing your agony. So it's the best form of food. That's why it has been declared as the national food of India. Because not only for the patient but also for the healthy person, if he eats this, he can live long. He can have all the 7 body tissues well formed. So he will be having more immunity, and it's a sustainer of life. That way he can live long. So then we have spoken about Yuvago. Khichdi is Yuvago, but in semi-solid form. Then we have said Vilepi without pulses. If we make a khichdi, that is then Vilepi. Peya, just a soup type of product that's having all the vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, proteins. So it's easily digestible. You don't need that much fire to digest. And then you have Yusha, it's more concentrated form, and one can select which recipe suits your patient. If patient is suffering from IBS, irritated bowel syndrome, and diarrhea, dysentery, this type of diseases, then the best combination is that khichdi should be given with butter, milk. So it's the best combination. So khichdi, what I have told you, it absorbs all the moisture in the intestine. So that is very, very important in patients, those who are losing their weight, they are vata type, they are underweight because of this quality. So it's nourishing, it's giving satisfaction, it's vata balancing, because vata is in your intestine. Vata is placed in your large intestine, and this works because of the absorption on the large intestine, and that's why it's vata balancing food. And it improves your bulk of the feces. So then feces, stools, will be having good form, and patient will be relieved from gases and abdomen pain, colic, things like that. So very, very good for a disease of Crohn, ulcerative colitis, IBS, and that type of disease. Then in our classic book, there is one more very, very beautiful recipe, that is of mand. Mand is the rice water. Actually, we take rice and we put 4 to 5 times water with a little bit ginger and salt. There is salt, if I say, it's always Senda salt or Himalayan salt, and you cook it. You cook it and you decant that, you filter that, and that water is called mand. There is nothing else than carbo with little bit proteins and having the qualities of Deepan and Pachan. Deepan is that who increases your digestion fire, and Pachan is who digest. So it increases your hunger, appetite, and it makes you able to digest also. So it's Deepan and Pachan. It's very light, it's easy to digest, and it's sustainer of life. It means that there are a lot of diseases when patient is really not able to eat anything, literally anything whatsoever you give him, he will vomit or he will have problem in his stomach, he will have diarrhea. So to make his life sustainable, so we give him mand. And at last, I'm going to tell you one beautiful recipe, what in our classic book is told, that is Asht Guna Mand. Asht is 8, Guna means qualities, and Mand. That's also made with this rice, pulses, and sesame, and it's very, very good medicine. It's very, very good food for all the patients, those who are very, very chronic sick. They are having chronic diseases, they are emaciated, they don't have immunity, and they don't have digestion fire. So in those patients, we should give this Asht Guna Mand. So you make Asht Guna Mand by taking 2 parts of rice with 1 part of pulses, and you must fry it in sesame oil. And after frying in sesame oil, you have to cook in 14 times water. So cook it with coriander, black pepper, long pepper. We give ginger in that, and fried asafoetida, hing, we are putting in that. And after cooking it for a while, then we have to filter it, decant it, and that water we mix it with little bit ghee. And this is very, very good deepan. It promotes your digestion, it promotes your strength, it restores life. In Ayurveda, it said literally that it's restoring your life. It will increase your immunity, it will give you energy, it will clean your urinary bladder. So it's very, very good for that. When people are having a lot of problems in UTI, urinary tract, and in lower part of the abdomen, it will clean all that channels, and it promotes your blood tissue. That's also people having low energy, low hemoglobin. So we are giving this. So it's especially made carbohydrates, proteins with fat, minerals, everything in it. So it's useful also in fever. Fasting is a treatment of fever. So, but you can't keep your patient long time without food, because you have to have energy to fight against the disease. So in that case, we have to give him such food what is easily digestible, and that's why it said that it's useful in fevers also. And it can be given in Vata, Pitta, Kapha, all type of diseases, and it has got tendency to bring Vata, Pitta, Kapha, all 3 in balance. Khichdi, not for nothing, is our national food, because it's good for everyone, for the diseased and for the healthy person to be healthy, to remain healthy, we should be given. So I hope that with this information you can treat yourself and your patients. You can give as a diet or as a food to your patient. So thank you very much. See you next time.